All right. Let's try this again. You guys let me know. Atma Namaste, ChristianRLong, Life Enhancement Consultant. We had to sign off from the other stream to jump onto this stream because we were having some issues with the audio. And it's unpredictable. Sometimes the audio, mini Atma Namaste, sometimes the audio is amazing, super clear and crisp. And then today the volume goes up, the volume goes down, the volume goes up, the volume goes down. Ramesh, Atma Namaste. So I'm not quite sure, Josiah, Atma Namaste, what is going on with the sound. Please let me know if it sounds better. Anna, good to have you back on. And so the sound is better. Yes, I can hear you. Perfect. So maybe I need to hold on to this. I checked yesterday for an upgrade, and I'm basically due for an upgrade on my phone without paying for anything. But, Jimena's back on, but the new iPhone 11 is coming out in September. So I thought, well, why not get the latest, greatest, bestest ever, Sangeeta Atma Namaste, this coming September versus doing it now. Superb. All right, so maybe I'm going to have this on up until that point, right? So going back to our original discussion. At my office, this is my desk right here. This is where I do my healings. This is where I do most of the streams. I got my 365-day calendar in front of me, plotting everything out to make sure I'm on track for the things I want to accomplish. Da'av, Atma Namaste. And then above that, I have my Kriya Shakti or vision board, which has my goals, the things in my life that I want to accomplish. Now, Anthony Robbins talks about this at his seminars. He calls it the science of achievement and the art of fulfillment. So the science of achievement is basically, in order to be successful, there are certain principles that you must follow, mathematical principles that you must follow in order to get the desired result that you're seeking. Meaning, if you want to make $1 million a year in a business, there are certain things that you have to do systematically to accomplish that target. Andrew, Atma Namaste. But you can make $1 million in your business and still be unfulfilled. So he calls that the art of fulfillment. So I look at my goals. I look at my goals. I look at my targets. I look at my objectives. I look at the things that I want to accomplish. Yvonne, Atma Namaste. Good to have you on. I look at the things that I want to accomplish in my life, and I say to myself, okay, relationship goal. Got it. Income goal. Got it. Different competitions I want to do. Got it. Healthy eating, physical fitness. Got it. Traveling with the masters in Pranic Healing and creating miraculous healings around the world. Got it. Right? So having a beautiful, loving relationship with my son. Got it. But the question is, once all of those things are fulfilled, or half of them, or some of them are fulfilled, or accomplished, or achieved, is that going to bring me lasting happiness and joy? Most likely not. And this is covered extensively in one of my favorite books on psychology, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. In that book, basically, it's a true story about a psychiatrist who was put in the concentration camps, the toughest concentration camps. He was in two. One of them was Auschwitz. I forget the name of the other one, over a 3.5-year period. And in that 3.5-year period, he witnessed the most treacherous situations that a human being can experience without dying. And he realized that man or woman can adapt and will adapt to any and all situations given enough time. Even paraplegics, people who can't move their arms and can't move their legs, even those people reach a point in their development that they become accustomed to that new way of living. So we have an expectation that once I accomplish this, once I get this, once I have this, once this is in my bank account, once I have my perfect partner, once, then I'm going to be deeply and profoundly and perpetually fulfilled. And that's not accurate. I'll give you an example in my own life. So many of you have been following these streams for a period of months, if not years, and I was recently able to fulfill a 10-year goal, a 10-year objective, which was accomplishing a certain level within Arhatic Yoga. So I accomplished that certain level. I've been practicing it every week since then, which is almost 3 months ago, and I'm deeply fulfilled with my practice, but it hasn't taken away all pains, all sorrows, all sufferings, because energy is constantly moving, right? Energy is not stagnant. So you're never going to be on top all the time, and you're never going to be on the bottom all the time. It vacillates. What you can control 100% of the time, which Viktor Frankl talks about in the book Man's Search for Meaning, is you can control your viewpoint on the situation. Ruben, Atma Namaste, you can control your viewpoint, which is invaluable. Logotherapy, giving sense to pain and grief, suffering is an election. Is an election? I don't know if you meant election or something else. But yes, the therapy that he founded from the pains that he went through in the concentration camps is called logotherapy. Highly recommend checking it out, because we're constantly looking for meaning in our lives, and if we can identify a meaning to our suffering isn't so bad. So I think to myself, the great yogis, the saints, the arhats, the highly developed people on our planet suffered, had pain, had sorrow, had setbacks, had disappointments, but what they were always focused on and what they were always giving meaning to was their connection to God. Everything I do is to connect to God. My pain brings me closer to God. My happiness brings me closer to God. My boredom brings me closer to God. Everything that they would experience in their lives would bring them closer to God, because that is the permanent. Your thoughts will vacillate. Your feelings will vacillate. Your physical body will vacillate. But the connection to God is permanent. And so it kind of makes sense that you have a modern day spiritual teacher like Eckhart Tolle, who talks about when he had his enlightenment or his awakening, that he was able to just go on a park bench in Vancouver, British Columbia, sit on the park bench for about 2.5 years. He's practically homeless. And for 2.5 years, he was just in a state of bliss, a state of oneness, a state of connectivity to God. He wasn't achieving, he wasn't reaching, he wasn't trying to accomplish something, to grasp onto something, to grasp onto the perfect car, the perfect relationship, the perfect house, the perfect bank account balance. He simply was in a state of beingness, and from that, he had it all. So Jimenez says, pain is worth for growing, suffering is just an election of many options, and we shall avoid it. Yes. So suffering is optional. Suffering is optional because you can experience pain in that moment, but if you want to hold on to that pain and turn it into prolonged suffering, that's kind of the choice. You can choose to stop suffering right now and move forward, or you can continue to hold on to that suffering for a period of time. But Leti Atma Namaste, a friend of mine, as well as a client of mine, was sharing with me sticking points that he's having in his life. It wasn't an official healing session. It wasn't an official coaching session. It was just kind of us bantering back and forth and talking with one another. And he has this assumption that when this is accomplished, or this is accomplished, or this is accomplished, life is going to be easy breezy cover girl. No problems, right? So he's basing his happiness on the external versus on the internal. Does that make sense? So we spend so much of our time trying to get the external world to be perfect and to be in such a way that brings us safety, security, certainty, predictability. But in reality, it can all go away like that. All possessions, car, home, clothes, money, health, all of those things can go away like that overnight. But if you're grounded in self, if you're grounded in your connection to your higher soul or your higher self, all the waves on the top of the surface of the water can go up, can go down, can go up, can go down, but your inner stillness is unshakable. And that's the goal. Have you ever noticed the great yogis and great teachers, either within the past 100 years or past few hundred years, and you see pictures of them, or you see them in, motion pictures? There's this sense of peace and stillness and joy, even though they still have problems just like everybody else. In fact, they have probably more problems than most people because they have a big spiritual mission that they have to fulfill, which requires them to bring in many students, many volunteers, lots of resources, lots of planning, lots of ashrams and projects around the world because they have a big mission. But if you look at them, there's a sense of stillness, a sense of peace, a sense of joy, a sense of connectivity, an unshakable nature, no matter what's happening. To me, that's not a mirage. To me, that's not a shadow. The shadow is the thing that we're running from, right? We're running from imaginary fears. And mirages are we're running towards imaginary fulfillment. We think once we acquire that thing, we'll be fulfilled. Not true. Not true. But as we develop our character, and as we develop as people, and as we develop as souls, we are fulfilled. Grandmaster Chogo Koksui says, the soul develops not by accumulating, but by giving. Or the soul grows not by accumulating, but by giving. So I see my beautiful wishes, wants, needs, desires on my Kriya Shakti board, on my vision board, and I ultimately know that these aren't going to fulfill me forever. But the person I have to become to fulfill those needs, wants, and desires will be forever with me. Right? I'm able to take the character aspects, the virtues with me when I leave the body, but I'm not going to be able to take my perfect partner with me. I'm not going to be able to take my perfect cars, houses, bank accounts. None of that stuff can go with me. But while I'm still in my physical body, I will continue working towards these things of being more successful, more prosperous, more achieve-oriented in these areas of life while doing my inner work. Does that make sense? So it's kind of a paradoxical truth. You're like, so do I chase God or do I chase achievement? And what I'm saying is be grounded in God, be grounded in the infinite, be grounded in the stillness, the all-permeating stillness of God while achieving. Does that make sense? So Sangeeta is saying, I'm finding difficult at a certain point to release emotions. So you're having a difficult time releasing emotions. So part of that is entanglement. Whatever negative emotion that is coming up for you, there's a part of you that thinks you are that. So you're having a hard time disassociating yourself from the emotion. Right? So it's not there's fear, it's not there's worry, it's not there's uncertainty, right? Making it objective, but it's I'm fearful, I'm uncertain, I'm worrisome. Disintegrate. Right? You're identifying. So as soon as you identify with a negative emotion, your soul connection shrinks, right? As soon as you identify with who and what you are, which is the soul, the higher self, the attachment those negative thoughts, negative feelings have on you is lessened. It's not perpetually forever gone. That's why you have to keep connecting, keep connecting, keep connecting. And that's your practice. Minnie says happiness is within. Yes, absolutely. Because other happiness, other forms of happiness are temporary. They come and go. Your bank account goes up, your bank account goes down. Relationships are working, relationships are not working. Car is working, car is not working. House is beautiful, house is in disarray or chaos, right? So again, Jugo Atmanamaste, the only thing you can control is your connection to God. The only thing you can control is, Scott, Atmanamaste, are your thoughts, your words, your feelings, and your actions. That's not to say the world won't try to influence you, but at the end of the day, you are 100% responsible for your thoughts, your words, your feelings, and your actions. Grandmaster Choa Kuk says, you can tell the maturity of a soul by how much it takes responsibility for its life. You can tell the maturity of a soul by how much it takes responsibility for its life. So the more that you take on, the more you say, you know what? It's not the economy. It's not the politicians. It's not my spouse. It's not my children. It's not my childhood or my upbringing. It's me. It's my thoughts, my words, my feelings, my actions determines my destiny. Does that make sense? And we have to constantly keep reminding ourselves of that. I have to keep reminding myself of that. Like, wait a minute. I could blame this person for this situation, or I could blame this person for this suffering and pain, or I can change my viewpoint. Buddhism 101, right? Right viewpoint, the Eightfold Path of Buddhism. The first step in the Eightfold Path is right viewpoint, or accurate perception. Seeing something as it is. And if you see yourself as a divine child of God, not in theory, but in reality, a lot of your suffering, pain, sorrow goes away. It's kind of like when St. Francis was transcribing scripture, and his body was very, very hungry. He called his body the mule, and he would say, "Mule, I'll feed you later. Mule, I'll feed you later." And he would go on transcribing, because he as the soul was in charge of the body, was in charge of the vehicle. But later on in life, I guess he wrote that he regretted the severity that he put his body through, meaning he should have been more loving and kind towards his body. But saints are still growing and evolving and learning too, right? Saints are not perfect. They're very highly developed and they have a very big mission in life, but they're also not perfect. They still make mistakes. So how much more for us, ordinary people that are just trying to become better, right? So I hope that makes sense to you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to throw it in the comment section below. There's always a 15 to 30 second lag time. And for those of you who need healing and want to experience a very powerful healing crystal that's been consecrated and blessed, and you need healing in some area of your life, definitely go to ChristianRLong.com, sign up for a pranic healing session directly on the website. It syncs up with my calendar. I see the appointment, and then we connect over Skype, FaceTime, Zoom, whatever's convenient, and we create a miracle for you. That's always the objective of creating a miraculous healing in the lives of each and every person that we work with. right? Why hold on to suffering when we don't have to? I remember a program, you guys might get a kick out of this. Maybe some of you can even relate. I remember when I was 15 years old, I wanted to have a story of suffering that could turn into success. So I would do anything and everything that would cause suffering in my life because it would be like a cool, interesting story on my way to success that people would go, wow, he suffered all of those things and he was still successful, right? That's a thought form that I created as a 15-year-old that took me many, many, many years to unravel. Think about how horrible of a thought form that is. In order for me to be successful, I need to suffer to have a story. I need to have a story of suffering for people to relate to. Crazy, right? But that's where I was. That was my karma at the time. So for 2.5 years in Massachusetts, and if you've ever been to Massachusetts in the wintertime, you know how cold it can get. So for 2.5 years, I slept on the floor in my bedroom, and the floor was concrete. Cold concrete. Really cold concrete in the wintertime. Because I wanted to have a story of like, look how much I've suffered. Now you should listen to me. Pedro, namaste. Look how much pain I've gone through. Now you can listen to me. So I was inducing my own pain for no other reason than to have a story that was relatable to people. Pam, namaste. Doesn't make a lot of sense, right? So it's taken a lot of healing and a lot of deconstructing and deprogramming and then reprogramming my subconscious and conscious mind that success can be joyful, success can be easy, success can be pain-free, right? Sangeeta says it's built with daily love, grace, happiness, patience, forgiveness, and sacrifice. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And I always remember hearing these self-development terms like gratitude and forgiveness and always thinking that they were some airy-fairy, ethereal thing that had no real value or no real impact on my day-to-day life. But as I've tapped into deeper levels of energy and insights in my own spiritual life, I now realize that these words of gratitude, forgiveness, joy, at times are more real than this physical object. It's quite amazing realizing that those ethereal, subtle energies can have a more profound, real impact in your day-to-day life than a physical object. Which goes back to our original point. All of your striving and achievement in life is going to bring you temporary joy. Palmas, namaste. Colette, namaste. But working on yourself to become a better person, to improve your virtue, to improve your awareness and understanding will far outweigh anything you can get in the physical world. I hope that makes sense. Any other questions, comments, clarifications you guys are seeking for this evening? We do these streams each and every day to add value to your life, to improve the quality of your life, to help you see a situation from hopefully a better, higher level perspective to alleviate your suffering. It's been a long day, but it's been good, right? It's been a good day, a fulfilling day. It's good to know that you're helping people, that you're becoming a better person through the process. My prayer for myself and all of my clients is becoming a better person and a better soul every day, no matter what. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, we have our little lag time. So that's it, guys. That's my spiritual rant for the evening. Thank you for sharing your time with us. Thank you for sharing your energy with us. May your life be blessed. May God and the great ones and my teacher, Grandmaster Choa Koksui, bless each and every one of your lives with divine light, divine love, divine power, with profound healing energies to move your life forward, to become a better person and a better soul, and to access the grace of God, to access the higher energies of God. Mini says, Sangeeta, accept everything as they are, then nothing is difficult. Yeah, which goes back to discernment. Discernment means to judge something correctly, to see something as it is. Viewpoint. That's it, guys. So I'm going to head out, take a salt bath for tonight, do a little bit more of my practice to fulfill a commitment I've had for the past 4 years. I'm almost there. I'm so close to accomplishing it. I'm very excited. I'm excited through the process, and I'll be excited when I achieve the destination. Jimena, you're very, very welcome. Lots of light, love, and power to you from God and the great ones. And I will talk to you guys soon. This is ChristianRLong, Life Enhancement Consultant, wishing you a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and a beautiful life. Atma, namaste. Bye-bye.